apps makers, this is Ahmed Saleh again, and today we are talking about the Dataverse table forms fields validations for the model-driven Power Apps. When we build or create tables in Dataverse, we know that one of the out-of-the-box components that we can use with these tables are the forms that will be generated for us. And then in these, in addition to the forms, we have the business rules. And the business rules is something that we can use to do some sort of fields input validation. When the user input or enter specific data or input, we can validate that input. But this is just for like straightforward kind of use cases. Sometimes we have complex logic that will drive our validation of the user inputs. And for this, we use JavaScript. So today's tutorial is I have created a solution, and in that solution, you will be able to generate the code, the JavaScript code. And this is specifically for citizen developer, those who might, not be familiar with the JavaScript code or just starting and they need just something to, give them that kickstart. So they can use this solution, and in this solution there is a model-driven app and there is a custom page. The custom page is basically where you actually can generate your JavaScript code that you can use to validate any fields that you have in your Dataverse table forms. Some of the use cases that we are discussing today is in case that you have a field and you want the input to be case sensitive, either smaller or capital letters, uppercase or lower cases. Also, if you need that to have a field input that only contain letters or only contain, for example, numeric values or numbers. For the numbers, obviously, you can actually, once you select the type of the column in Dataverse table as a number, that validation is already out of the box there for you. It's mainly for the text type of fields or columns data types that when we need this type of advanced validation. So we also have here that if we want the input to start with a specific string, for example, fiscal year 2023 dash, right? Or to end with a specific string in that case. Also, if we need to have the input to match a specific pattern that we have, either numeric or either a text pattern or a combination between both of them. So without any delay, let's actually hop in and check out how we can do this. So the first thing that you have to do, and I will share this link for the GitHub link where you can actually go ahead and check that solution and download the zip file of the solution. So the first thing you will do, you will have to go ahead and click on that zip file so you can actually go ahead and download the file. And once the file is being downloaded, and as you can see, I have downloaded before, you will go to your environment and, whatever environment that you are using in your tenant, I would recommend that you, check this in a developer environment, so you can check it out and test it before you decide to, whether or not you want to use it in any kind of, UAT or production environment. So we will go ahead and import the solution. So I'm going to go ahead and click import. And then I will go ahead and select my file that I just downloaded right here. And then I will click open, next. And we will just go ahead and import the solution. So the solution actually will go ahead now and start importing. And now that we have our solution that has been imported to this environment, I will go ahead and click on that solution. I will go inside the solution. And the first thing that we will go to is actually going to the model-driven app. So here I will go to my model-driven app and I will go ahead and play. And here we go, we have my model-driven app. So the first thing that you have here, obviously, you have the table. This is the table that you can actually play around with these validation rules. And to do that, you just go ahead and create a new record. And you can see that these are the use cases that we have right here. And this is already been configured and attached to these JavaScript web resources. So for example, you can go ahead and check this out. It must be a case sensitive field, capital letter only. So if I put small, then we'll see that we have this error and we cannot actually save because of the error. And if we have number in that case, we'll see that it will take the number just fine. It's only that it cannot have small letters. So, but if we have like capital letters, any number of characters, that will be just fine. The other one is the opposite, is the small one, so it has to be only small letters, so that will work. But if we have capital letters, will not work. Then we have the third one, we have that it must contain only letters. So only letters can be accepted, capital or small, without any problem. But the moment that we add any kind of like, special characters, or we add any numbers, it will not allow us to have these. And then this one is must not include any special characters. So you can have any string, like any letters, any numbers, but you cannot have any special characters. That will also be a problem for you. And then we have this, the end with. So you can end with a specific string, and I already have said that one. So for example, here it has to end with NBV, and we're gonna see when we generate this JavaScript, you will be able to decide what string that you want to end with, for example, if you are building this type of logic. And then we have the start with as well, and it's also start with ABC. This is like a value that I predefined to be as my starts with value. And then we have specific pattern. Here is a numeric pattern, is 3 digits dash 2 digits, then 4 digits. And then here must match a pattern, which is start with, for example, ABC, or any kind of string dash 3 numbers dash 4 numbers. So for example, I can have any type of string, and then I have to have dash 3 numbers dash 4 numbers. That will be just fine here. I think, oh, okay, so it has to be, I think it has to be only 3 letters. So we will see A, D, X. And I think it's probably even defined to ABC in that case. Oh, okay, no, it's actually not this one. It's actually the dash. So I'm gonna go ahead and put everything. Yeah, I was like, okay, so this is 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Does it have to be capital? I think so. Oh yes, so it has to be capital letters. Any number of these letters, and then dash 3 numbers dash 4 numbers, right? So this is basically what we have. So now how we created this validation. So what we will do, I'm gonna go to the generate JavaScript. I will discard my changes, and here we have this custom page, as you can see, right? So this is a custom page, and here you can actually go ahead and select the validation type, for example, and then you can see that must be case sensitive. These are the validation types that we can select from. So let's, for example, must be capital letters. So you will have to put a function name, and then you will also have to put the field logical name. And we know that the field logical name, if you go actually to the tables and you go to your columns, and if you want to actually get the logical name, you can go to that specific column. For example, here, capital letter, you click on these 3 dots, 3 ellipses, you go to advanced tools and copy logical name. And this will give us actually the logical name that we need. This is our logical name right here. There's another way that you can do that. So if you go actually and you have this form already inside one of the model-driven apps, right? So when you open that form in the model-driven app right here, there is actually extension that you can add right here. And this extension called level up. So I'm gonna go ahead to my extension, and it's a great thing to have if you are working often with model-driven apps. So I'm gonna go to settings. Oops, not settings. I'm gonna go to click here again, sorry, it's gonna be here, extensions, and then I will open my Edge add-ons extensions, and I will look for level up, and you can see here it's level up for Dynamic 365 and Power Apps. So I will go ahead and add the extension, and here we go, we have the extension has been added already. So I'm gonna go back here again and see if I can actually get it the extension. Sometimes here you might need to refresh the page. So once you have the extension right here, so I just came here, click on the extension. You can also remember that you can actually show in the toolbar right here, and you can just have it here all the time. So now when I click here and I click logical name, that's when I need actually to go ahead and refresh. So I'm going to go ahead and refresh my page and then go ahead and click logical name, and you can see that now I can see this logical name right here. So it's easy for me just to go ahead, select here and just copy the logical name from right here, and once you do that, it's going to be easy that you come back here and just use it here in your case. So it's a good practice to have this extension in your browser. So once we select the validation, we give a function name, and it doesn't matter if you have a space. I eliminate the spaces. So if you made a mistake, obviously function name in JavaScript does not, you cannot have like spaces. So for example, here we're gonna use uppercase validation, right? And again, if we have the space, it doesn't matter because it will eliminate that space. And again, the logical field name, in this case, I have that logical name. You will click actually create JavaScript, and here you go. You have the JavaScript code for you ready. Similarly for the other validation type. And for now, we have these 8 validation types, and this is actually going to be growing, solution. So we will have many types. Please comment if you are interested in a specific type of validation logic. Then we can actually incorporate this, in this application as well. So if you go, for example, to start with, and we're gonna again give it start with validation, and then this is here. We have to type here, enter the start with car. So what is the strings that you actually want to start? Let's say that fiscal year 2023, and then we will have dash, for example, right? So now what is the function name? I will say start with validation. And then the logical name here, for example, again, similar thing that you can go actually to your model-driven app, or you go to any column, field in your table, wherever you want to apply this, validation. You will go there, click on these dots, go to advanced tools and copy logical name, or if you have the extension, you can just get it from there. And here I'm going to just go ahead and let's select, specific field, or actually, the matter of fact, we will actually go ahead and in this table, because this is a managed solution, so I'm not going to be able to add a column here. So what I can do is I will go ahead and let's actually in one of the solutions that we have here. So let's see, this is also managed solution. So let's actually go ahead and in the default solution, I will go ahead and create a table. And this is just a table, to test this validation rules. Test validations of tables, fields, input. And I'm not going to do anything here. I'm actually going to just go ahead and even validate against the primary column, which in this case is going to be a text by default. So I'm going to go back here in my new table, and then I will go to the columns, and I will just go ahead and let's look for that name column that we have here. It's a single column, it's required field. So I'm going to go ahead and go advanced tools and then copy logical name. I will come back here and let's just paste. This is basically the logical name. And in this case, this is going to be start with specific string, and then it's going to be FY fiscal year 2023 dash, and then I will go ahead and create the JavaScript. So you have it right here. So what you have to do is you copy the code, and if you are using any notepad or notebook, and then you can just paste the code there, save it as any name, and just make sure that the extension is .javascript or JS. So here I'm using Visual Studio Code, so I'm going to go ahead and create a new file. It's going to be a text file. I can obviously select, JavaScript here, and then I will just go ahead and paste the code right here. Once I do that, all you have to do is just go ahead and save, and then I'm going to go ahead and save it. Let's see here, I have community, and I will give it a name. Let's say, we can have start with validation, and I'll just delete this extra stuff here, and then leave it start with validation and JavaScript. One thing you have to remember is actually the function name. The function name is very important, and I will show you why. But you have it here as well, so that's also a place where you know what is your function name. But the function name from your JavaScript, it's very important. So once I have done this, I can go back to my table, and here we're actually going to attach this JavaScript that we just created to that specific field, which is our primary name column. So I'm going to go to the forms in my table. This is the new table I created. And then I will go to the main, and I will edit the main form that I have. And here where I have, this is basically the field. You might not have the fields here, so you can add your fields to the forms. If you have them, you just select the field, and you can see that you have properties of that field, and then you have events. So this is where we're gonna go. We're gonna go to events. We're gonna go ahead and hit add library, and here we're gonna go ahead and create new web resource. So when I hit create new web resource, I need to upload the file, and this is the JavaScript file that we just created. It's actually in the community. It's right here, start with validation.js, and then I will give it a name, so I can give it the same name. Let's actually just give it the same name of the file, and then also you need to give it a logical name here. The type is going to be JavaScript. You will just have to go ahead and save and publish. Once you do that, you will come here, and obviously you need to select that library, right? So you can actually go ahead and paste the name of that web resource that we just created. You will select it and go ahead and add. And now we can have this libraries being added. So go back again to events, event handler. We have the library already being selected. What is the function? Remember, the function is actually the function name in your code right here. That's very important. So I'm going to go ahead and put my function name. I will say pass execution context as a first parameter. So that means I can pass the value that was entered by the end users. And then I will select this, and I will click done. And then here I'm going to go ahead, save, and publish. Once this completed, then we need to start actually working this form. So we're going to just create a quick model-driven app, and then add this table to that model-driven app, so we can actually access this form by creating new records into that table. So I'm going to go ahead and hit back, and here I will actually go and go back and create a new app. This is going to be a model-driven app, and we're going to call it test fields validations. Create, and we will add a page. It's going to be a Dataverse table. I will click next. It's existing table, so I think I started by test. That's right, that's the table name. I will add my table right here, and that's all what I need to do here, just for the purpose of testing. So I'm going to go ahead and publish, and then I will play this app, and we will go ahead and create new records so we can see that validation in action. So I'm going to go ahead and play the app. Now I'm going to go ahead and create a new record. As you can see here, this is the field that we actually created the validation against. So remember to start with fiscal year 2023. That's what is important. So I can put anything here. It will give me an error. It tells me that string must start with FY 2023. So I'm going to actually go ahead and put FY 2023 dash, and then I can put, like, any letters, capital or small, numbers, and then it's working just fine right here. So this is actually how we do the whole thing from the beginning to the end. If you like what you have seen, please like, subscribe, and share this video with others. Also subscribe to the blog post, and I will see you in the next tutorial. Bye now.